Strategic Air Command's KC-135 Stratotanker fleet continues to meet global Air Force refueling demands. During Coronet Finch, a tactical Air Command exercise, SAC's tankers delivered over 2 million pounds of fuel to 16 RF-4Cs. 216 refueling sorties were required for the deployment and redeployment of these aircraft to and from Europe. TAC's Crested Cap operation deployed 4 F-4D squadrons from the United States to Europe. During this operation, the Stratotankers delivered 4.5 million pounds of fuel in 485 sorties. SAC also refueled these 4 squadrons when they redeployed in the spring of 1969. Meantime, the KC-135s continue to support the war effort in Southeast Asia. Flying some 14,000 missions, the Stratotankers offloaded almost 750 million pounds of fuel to some 58,000 aircraft, including high-performance jet fighters, F-4s, F-100s, F-105s, which strike enemy targets in Vietnam, and SAC's own B-52s, which strike the enemy from bases on Guam and in Thailand. A recent U-Tapao highlight of Stratotanker activity was the 100th mission ceremony for Captain Gerald M. Shorey. Along with the routine ceremonial dousing, the captain was awarded the 100th mission patch by Brigadier General Richard M. Hoban, 4258th Strategic Wing Commander. Captain Shorey is a navigator with the 913th Air Refueling Squadron, Barksdale Air Force Base, Louisiana. When SAC bomber crews arrive from the United States, they receive special Southeast Asia indoctrination training, which is referred to as the SCAT training program. The SCAT program supplements the training crews received prior to arriving at Guam. Crews from units not equipped with D-model B-52 aircraft receive pre-deployment training from the Replacement Training Unit, RTU, at Castle Air Force Base, California. RTU qualifies the crews in the D-model aircraft. SCAT qualifies the crews for B-52 operations in Southeast Asia. More than 100 crews have received RTU SCAT training. At Guam, 3 days in the classroom supplements a week of academics taken at Castle. Now the crews are ready to gain practical experience under combat conditions in Southeast Asia. Before the crews take off on actual combat missions, the aircraft are checked and serviced by professional ground crews and the crew members themselves to assure the operational readiness for the mission. As a part of their training, each crew flies 2 combat missions under the close supervision of experienced SAC instructors. With the RTU SCAT program satisfactorily completed, these men are ready to fly solo combat missions with the 4133rd Bomb Wing in support of B-52 operations in Vietnam. Playing a key role in keeping SAC aircraft flying are the weather units of the Military Airlift Command, MAC, at Andersen Air Force Base. These professional weathermen are on the job around the clock, supplying weather data in support of SAC operations, whether it is training in the United States or for combat operations overseas. Equipped with the latest electronics equipment, handled by highly trained administrative and technical personnel, MAC weathermen play a major part in aiding SAC to accomplish its primary mission, deterrence of all-out war. Ground support crews with a special function lend invaluable support to SAC operations at Andersen Air Force Base. 6-man teams of this Western Pacific Organizational Squadron meet almost every aircraft returning from a mission. As the aircraft stops on the ramp, these men use tugs to tow and park the big birds in either hangars or at revetments. A crack crew can hook up, tow, and deliver a bomber or tanker to its destination within the short space of 5 minutes. In combat, time is of the essence. This type of superior ground support expedites and enlarges the turnaround capability of SAC aircraft operating in Southeast Asia. When aircraft are scheduled for another mission, B-52 munitions maintenance crews take charge of uploading its bomb load. During a visit to Andersen Air Force Base in November 1968, General Bruce K. Holloway, SAC Commander-in-Chief, observed and inspected B-52 armament loading procedures. The General complimented the SAC crewmen on their tremendous efforts and emphasized the importance of their support to success of SAC operations in Southeast Asia. A SAC security policeman and his sentry dog. A team that plays an important part in maintaining security of SAC forces. Each dog is trained to know and to work with one and only one man of the security team. They constantly train together. The dog will only obey the commands of his master. Security personnel also spend many hours practicing on the firing range. The SAC security teams guarantee that unknowns will have a difficult time penetrating SAC secured areas. Operation Short Round was conducted at Vandenberg Air Force Base on 1 September 1968. The Minuteman II missile was modified to contain 7 seconds of live propellant in the first stage, with the second and third stages inert. The launch was accomplished by combat crew members from the 394th Strategic Missile Squadron, Vandenberg Air Force Base. Short Round is part of the operational base launch program, supplementing the normal test launches of randomly selected operational missiles that are emplaced at Vandenberg Air Force Base. The launch of these missiles is directed by the Commander-in-Chief, Strategic Air Command, through the SAC command post located at Offutt Air Force Base. Looking Glass is the code name for SAC's Emergency Airborne Command Post operation. The aircraft participating in Looking Glass have completed more than 65,000 hours of continuous airborne service. If SAC's underground command post at Offutt and the command post of other SAC major units were rendered out of commission by enemy attack, Looking Glass would take over. they would direct bomber and missile forces and execute war orders by authority of the President. Looking glass aircraft began their continuous airborne alert duty back in 1961. This assures SAC the capability of exerting measured command and control of its nuclear strength, even in a post-attack environment. SAC conducts a continuing series of conventional munitions tests to improve strategic air command ability to deliver these weapons. The nickname for these tests is Short Trip. A recent test conducted at Eglin Air Force Base, Florida, tested a new explosive fill for 500-pound general-purpose bombs. The test sought data on fragment damage from bombs released from a B-52 at minimum safe altitude, and also data on the extent of low or high-order premature detonations caused by fragments from bombs released at minimum intervals. This drop was photographed in slow motion for test analysis purposes. Information secured from these short trip tests aid in enhancing B-52 combat operations worldwide. The RC-135C is a modified EC-135C swept-wing, long-range, high-speed, air-refuelable aircraft. It is primarily a flying platform for worldwide electronic reconnaissance. There are 10 RC-135Cs, and all are based at Offutt Air Force Base. The concept of operations is to fly an operational mission from a forward area. The range is enhanced by air-to-air refueling. After flying its assigned mission, the aircraft recovers at Offutt Air Force Base, terminating its mission. One of the first questions which occurs to an airman arriving at a base in Southeast Asia is, what sort of security measures are in effect? At U-Tapao Royal Thai Airfield, Thailand, American and Thai police share responsibility for overall base security. Each day, the men going on patrol are inspected by Captain Paul Ainlick, the officer in charge of weapons system security. U-Tapao security forces operate under a three-zone concept in defending the outer perimeter. They rely on guard towers, on guards positioned in bunkers, and on sentry dogs. From the console at Central Security Control, Sergeant Eugene Davis and other controllers like him work alongside a Thai controller to coordinate the security forces on the base. Central Security Control communicates with the security personnel by means of shortwave and walkie-talkies carried by key personnel. The giant aircraft of the Strategic Air Command are guarded by these well-trained, well-equipped security police. Personnel assigned to U-Tapao are thus assured that this well-organized security force is maintaining vigilance 24 hours a day to keep the base secure. Strategic Air Command's primary mission continues to be the deterrence of an all-out nuclear war. In addition, however, for the fourth consecutive year, SAC continues to play a major role in the air war over Southeast Asia. Since June 1965, B-52 Stratofortresses dropped more than 886,000 tons of conventional ordnance, flying more than 35,000 sorties. This was accomplished while the command continued meeting its primary mission requirement, to be alert and ready with its nuclear deterrent forces. Most missions were flown in direct support of Army and Marine ground forces. Also struck were suspected enemy strong points, supply and communication routes, and troop concentration areas. These interdiction missions greatly demoralize the enemy and disrupt his timetable for aggression. Intelligence reports indicate that enemy prisoners testified that the most feared weapon by the Viet Cong is the SAC B-52. Secretary of Defense Melvin R. Laird has said, as far as the enemy is concerned, the real pressure is Strategic Air Command B-52 strikes. They mean a great deal as far as bringing this thing in Vietnam to an end. In my mind, I think the job SAC is doing is working for that end and is saving a lot of Allied forces casualties. A B-52 crew highlight occurred at U-Tapao when Lieutenant Colonel Robert G. Rilling and his crew from the 509th Bomb Wing chalked up their 100th combat mission in Southeast Asia. For Colonel Rilling, it was the second time he had received such an honor. Before becoming a B-52 crewman, the colonel had logged 100 combat missions as attack fighter pilot, flying F-105s. Following the traditional drenching and champagne toasting, Brigadier General Hoban congratulated Colonel Rilling for his outstanding performance as a B-52 crewman. Captain Donald R. Walters was congratulated by General Holloway for being the first SAC crewman to log 200 combat missions. The captain is a radar navigator from the 454th Bombardment Wing, Columbus Air Force Base, Mississippi. Other names in the news are these B-52 crewmen being awarded air medals by General Holloway. This crew was from Blytheville Air Force Base, Arkansas. This crew is from Columbus Air Force Base, Mississippi. Other B-52 crewmen received air medals from General J.P. McConnell, Air Force Chief of Staff. These men represent crews from Westover Air Force Base, Massachusetts. These crews are from Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, North Carolina. Technical Sergeant James D. Hackworth is an example of how the Air Force Suggestion Program is paying off. He developed a tool for the repairing of damaged drogue assemblies, resulting in annual saving of $10,000. Sergeant Hackworth, an in-flight refueling technician, 306th Field Maintenance Squadron, McCoy Air Force Base, Florida, typifies the SAC professionals who have received incentive awards, ranging from hundreds to thousands of dollars. Their ideas and suggestions resulted in large savings in the Air Force annual budget and improved the efficiency of SAC operations. Staff Sergeant Malcolm G. Aldridge has been selected SAC's Outstanding Airman of the Year for 1968. A UH-1F crew chief and flight engineer, Sergeant Aldridge holds 2 Distinguished Flying Crosses for heroic action in Vietnam, among many other honors. An accomplished technician and outstanding team man, Sergeant Aldridge is a fine example of the airman in today's Air Force. The Strategic Air Command is an important part of the free world's military strength. Its qualified, skilled, and expertly trained personnel give the highest degree of professionalism to accomplish SAC's mission worldwide.